Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamilov. Good morning, everyone. Today is Eric's favorite day of the week. It's chart day for everyone out there that loves charting. Eric is going to provide us with many charts to get us through the morning here. Weird overnight trade. Looked like they were blowing the lid off the upside. NASDAQ, we're back in this computerized rig where NASDAQ's going up and S&P's going down. And when the NASDAQ goes down a little, the S&P goes down a lot. I expect that to flip by 9:45 today. I don't understand what's going on.
Exactly 9:45 or
950, whatever, so right now for the traders out there, I'd be a buyer of S&P over NASDAQ. It's out about 1% today. I know that trade has been working, for the other side in a big way. So this is a little comeback, but I don't think, I think earnings start, I guess, today. And I don't know what I know Intel is, I think, the 23rd. I think there's going to be major disappointment coming forward here. Listen, that's not to say today NASDAQ can't close up, 3 or 400. It's interesting. So I trade a lot of Q options, and I put on what I thought was a bullish ratio butterfly spread last night. And I gave myself like $8 of room in Q, okay, which is over 1%, right? Before I even have to think about it. Well, I had to think about it. Like it's like $8 and $10 now is like it's a joke trade. I don't know why we're like this. I honestly don't. I don't know who's buying it this morning and then selling it an hour later, and then yesterday selling NASDAQ literally all day into the bell. Literally, it was like ding-a-ling-a-ling. The bell was ringing. They were still selling. Then you come in this morning and the Q is $8 higher, basically through the high of yesterday in the overnight. Okay, the higher yesterday in the overnight, and nothing is really going on. What, they caught a little bid in South Korea? I mean, I'm telling you, our whole market is Micron. I was looking at Nvidia, barely up. I was looking all across the board. Apple, not moving. Nothing moving. You know what it is? MU. MU went above 900 or whatever. Okay. That's what moved us up. I'm sure it's below 900 now or in that area. And that's what moved us down. But we're trading an entire stock market off MU, which is an illiquid, crazy thing that moves 5% a day. So, these guys are running out of tricks. What I'll say is we're coming into the the real part of the year. This is generally, I said it yesterday, generally a bullish week, week after expiration, not having a good month. So they're catching a little bit of a bid, but I think earnings are going to hit these tech, and I'm going to try to set up to the short side. We had Macro Monday yesterday, and if we're looking at Macro Tuesday, Macro is setting up for down. Bonds are on the low tick of the day. Oil is on a high tick of the day, right? What is going on here? What do you make of this? You were freaking out in oil the other day, yesterday, about oil at 82 or 83. Now it's 84 and going to maybe higher. And nobody can, dude, it's honestly on a day over day, it doesn't mean anything for the market. None of this stuff does.
Well, yeah, you gotta like drive almost in two lanes at the same time with this market. I remember April 1st, market's at the dead low, starts ticking up. It's right before tech earnings. I flip on CNBC to just figure out what they're saying to justify the market. It was already rallying. This is before the 33% NASDAQ rally in 6 weeks. And all they could say is, we're ignoring the war, we're ignoring inflation because we're getting ready for earnings. This is the mindset that
Oh,
they
stop.
have.
I mean, I know you're saying that. That's no way, dude. I mean, you can't ignore anything. What are
It
earnings?
happens every earnings
Eric,
season in the bull
Eric,
market.
earnings last earnings, I'll state this. They had, I don't know if you remember the day, but it was Apple, Google. It had 4 earnings in one day. One day they had 4 of the biggest companies in the world. Remember what I said? I said one will be good, one will be bad, one will be mixed, and nothing will happen. So earnings didn't really move us. Micron, moved like after the earnings, but whatever. What do you expect in earnings? I know they're going to be amazing, unbelievable. Hey, you know what I'm not hearing about?
It's not a matter of what I expect. It's a matter of how the market psyche is right before earnings in a bull market, and it's always the same.
Now we're in a bull market. I mean, I think we're in a confused market. I think we rallied off the low a lot. Why? You think this is?
No, I laugh because you like that term. I've been calling the market confused, and you've been yelling at me that I've been calling it confused.
Dude, I am not.
And now you're saying the same thing. I love it.
I'm not. We're here for trading for the day, to get everybody ready for trading for the day. So on a day to day, the market is not confused. It's going to do whatever it's going to do today. And all you got to do is know this is a computer algorithm that is, set to buy NASDAQ and sell S&P, leave the Dow alone. Like, I will say, though, there's been 4 days this month, and last month there were none, that all indexes were down in the same day, which is very rare, very rare. So, like yesterday, everything started kind of up, right? Except the Dow. And then everything went down and the Dow didn't move. Dude, I'm telling you, it's a crazy thing. This is like you're playing right now. We're in a video game. You're a character in a video game. That's all we are. We're just whatever.
You believe in the simulation?
I believe that they are
watching Elon Musk videos.
No, but I believe that there's someone out there, whether it's Ken, Jane, or whoever, knows exactly where the market's going out right now for the day. They already know. They already know they're going to do everything in their power, barring crazy news, to do.
Yeah, you give them too much credit.
Okay, whatever. I know, dude. The 50 billion or 100 billion.
They're good, but they're not that good.
Oh, okay. So you tell me how. Timeout. You tell me how Jane Street, Citadel, Virtu, Hudson River, and I can name 10 others are up minimum of 25 billion.
No, for sure. If you tell me, do they know how to manipulate price up an extra 20, 30 points on NASDAQ or an extra 5 or 10 points on S&P? Yeah, they know how to do that.
Right. So you don't think they have the ability to maneuver the market at the end of the day to get it to where they want to get it? I
think they're a seat in the orchestra, a big seat, but I don't think they're the conductor.
Okay, who's the conductor? You're the
big
conductor?
Money's always the conductor.
Who's the conductor?
Whoever's got the most money.
And that's them. Okay, so they're the conductors.
But
how do you say they're not the conductors?
Well, how do you say the Fed is not the conductor? Well, how do you say the Fed is not the conductor?
The Fed doesn't do anything to the market on a day-to-day.
Like the Fed, they got the most money.
You know what the Fed does when they have a problem? Yeah, I can't even believe we're having this conversation. What is the first thing they do when the market has a problem?
Communicate?
No. They pick up the phone and go, Ken, listen, we're coming behind you to buy, so we need you to prop the market. What do you think? They're not calling the biggest prop firms in the world? That's the first thing that they do.
Really?
During COVID, that's exactly what they do. 100%. How are they going to get the market to move the way they want? They need players with money, like you said. So they got players with money. I'm just letting you know. That's the market. So you don't think the Fed is calling the biggest players? Every time, crash of 87, every single crisis, they're calling the players and they're getting them all together. In 08, it was Warren Buffett in his bathtub buying every bank stock with 10% dividends.
Yeah, but they're not okay. But they're not calling them on a day-to-day. Like, hey, we need.
But they're not doing any. The Fed's
we need an extra 20 points.
Doesn't matter.
Larry Benedict.
You just said the Fed is moving the market, and I'm telling you, Fed doesn't do anything. Fed's not moving the market, nor do they care whether we're up or down 50 handles today.
Okay, who do you think has more market impact? The boogeyman that you talk about every day, or the pension funds, the hedge funds, the mutual funds, all that?
No. Who has on a daily?
When they move, that's when you have
large market-making firms that are not market makers by far. Come on. An asset manager An asset manager or an RIA or whoever, they only buy the allocation. They're not trading today. Dude, these guys at basically Ken, okay, and Jane Street are trading like madmen. Do you know that Citadel's probably 50% of the volume on the exchange, or 40? I mean, what do you mean they're not doing it? I mean, come on, they're the whole market. They're everything. Okay?
I
They're
don't know.
everything.
I think they're there for what they need to get out of the market, which is, certain moves inside the day, intraday, but like to manipulate the whole day, like we we have this conversation.
Okay.
By the way, you talked
Right.
about
Well, wait a second. You're
There are
using
no,
the word timeout. You're using the word manipulation. So are you actually saying this is a manipulation?
I think they definitely know how to get what they need in the short
Right.
term.
So I don't want to even
In the short term.
Listen, I want to get to looking at the market. I want to get to some charting. This is stupidity. You're actually agreeing with me,
I'm
but
not
you don't realize.
I'm
I know
not
they don't move the
I'm
market.
not
The
zero
Fed is
agreement.
moving the market. The Fed is moving the
The
market.
Fed
It's
is a
moving the
bigger
market.
player than Jane Street. You got to
Not
stop
even
blaming
close.
Jane Street.
On a day-to-day
It's
basis.
close.
How can you say that? It's actually making me nauseous. Okay. Ken and Jane account for 60+% of the volume, but you think the Fed is involved in the stock market on a day-to-day basis.
I think if you weigh who's a bigger player in the long term, it's the Fed.
Oh, now you're looking at long term. I'm not looking at long term. And long term, it's not true. The Fed isn't buying stocks, dude. They're using their tool chest to do other things. The only guys buying and selling stock, although now the government is buying stock, but let's take them out of the picture. The Fed is not buying stock, dude. They're using monetary policy and the bond market to maneuver what's going on. And on the right side of that, they're calling Ken and Jane and say, listen, we got your back. Go out and save this thing. Okay. So that's how it goes down. But you can think what you want. Okay. Certainly the Fed is not even looking at where the futures are. You think the guy is waking up, oh, we have an up day. Oh, we have a down day.
And you think that's what Jane Street does every day?
100%. No, Eric, they only make $1 billion plus a month trading. Probably 3 billion. No, they're not looking at the markets. You're right. They're not.
They don't care
They're
where the market
investors.
closes
Dude,
on it.
They're. Are you out of your dude? This conversation's over. Move to charts. You don't know what you're talking
Thank
about.
God.
I'm being
Thank God.
honest. You don't. You're literally coming on here and going, Jane
You keep
and
blaming
Ken
them
don't
every
care where
day.
the market is today.
All
They
right.
don't care. They're
Yeah.
60% of the volume and they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They
By the
only
way,
make.
hold
They
on.
only
Let's
make
just move
timeout.
on. Let's
They
just
make
move on.
40 freaking billion a year. 50 billion. How do you think they're making that?
Yeah, because
One
that's
ticket at a
that's
time.
on intraday moves. That
You just said they're not in the market. Now you're saying it's intraday moves. Which one
whatever.
is it?
That's not what I said, but okay.
Okay.
You win.
And you think the Fed is moving the market?
No, but I'd like to move on to charts.
So go ahead. Pull up whatever you want. Give us your oil, how it's affecting the macro picture yesterday. Oil.
Well, you wanted to be short oil since 70, so why don't you tell us about that a little bit?
Okay, dude. All right, old sport. You're trying to come after me? That's fine, dude. That's right. Whatever you say, dude. I bought a put, okay? So I'm in it for the next 3 months, not the next 3 minutes, okay? So you can have your celebration here, which you're out of oil, which you've disclosed, okay? But wait, maybe you're back in it. And it's $84, okay? But it's having no effect on the stock market.
I am out of oil.
Dude. Okay. Well, it has no effect on the stock market right now. Right now, there's nothing literally that's affecting the market.
Yeah, so you mentioned earnings. There's no real big earnings report tonight. They're kicking off tomorrow with Google.
I know, with Intel
and IBM. Well, Google's
But
report.
you know what I don't understand? Did IBM pre-announce? Because their earnings came out. Like they dumped the other day off of, maybe that was an earnings pre-announcement because they dumped the stock.
So tomorrow's going to be interesting.
I'm buying a put in Intel. Either that or selling an upside call spread. I mean, it's just crazy. But let's talk a little bit. I'd like you to pull a chart on the 10-year note, which is now at the high yield of the entire move above 460. I'd love to see what this thing looks like up top because I'm expecting a move to 475 fairly quickly. I don't know if it's going to come off of some data or just a general move. We're seeing European bonds moving up, etc. So, you
Yeah,
know,
pulling it up. Give me a minute. Give me a second. We are pulling that chart up. Here's the 10-year yield, and you got. I like having my break-even inflation rate on the bottom there, but here's the 10-year yield here on top.
mhm.
What are you thinking? Consolidation, breakout? I know that's where your head is at.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very surprised. It's slow mover the way it is. It's very, very strange. So, um, we have to, we have to keep an eye on it. I'm looking for a bigger move. I don't see a pure option trade in it because you need a decent sized move to capitalize on it. But I do think there's trouble in River City. Um, so, but you want to know what we talked yesterday on our
So
macro show?
if you think this chart is going higher, is that oil related or
No,
the
zero.
general level of higher rate?
No, it's the exact reason is rates around the world. Rates around the world, our market, dude, the Bund is pushing up to like 320. This thing was at, did you know that in 2020 the Bund was -2%? -2. We never went negative. All bonds in the world went negative other than the US bond, which went to basically zero. So, this is an extreme move. I mean, an extreme move. And the bigger extreme move is JGB, which is like 275. JGB was minus like 4 on the lows in 2020. That means you had to basically give the government your money and you had to pay them 4% to hold the money. Does that make any sense?
Carry trade back on. What do you think about the yen? Why
I
is
don't know. I'm
currency
short
so
the
dead?
yen. I'm short the yen, and it's not cooperating.
When you say you're short the yen, what does that
I
mean?
mean,
Are you
I'm sorry. I'm long the yen and short the dollar at about 161 and a half. It's trading at 162.73.
so
Highs
the
basically.
quoting mechanism on yen is inverse. So
Yes.
when you guys are looking at this chart, what Larry is thinking is that this chart is going higher.
No, I think it's going lower. I actually think
Then
I don't
that
know
the
how
yen
you
would
have
be
it up.
strengthening.
I think the yen is going to 155 to
You think it's
155.
strengthening? The yen is
Yeah.
strengthening.
Yes. That's the trade we have on. We're long euro. These trades I've been in, I've traded currencies I've traded currencies my whole life. And I've traded over $1 trillion in currencies. It's a mind-blowing number. So in my career, I've traded 1 trillion. Okay. Um, and I've never seen it, and I've traded it since the 80s. I've never seen it in such a tightly wound range for so many months. Like we're up 120 pips on this one trade and we can't get out. It doesn't even move. We need another 80 pips. It's been like weeks, sitting in the same range. Bitcoin is out. I gave that yesterday. Now it's almost 67,000, my young son. Um, it's probably going to trade above 70 on this move. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
here's Bitcoin.
Well, you
Um,
know what? Bitcoin reversed the cycle. So the cycle in Bitcoin was when the US market was weak, that thing was weak. When the US market was strong, which it always is, it was still weak. Now it's reversing. So basically, what is happening, like yesterday, the market was a little bit weak on NASDAQ, and this thing still was up small on the day. So today you come in and the markets are higher, and
are you long Bitcoin
I am
for
not
the
long
op trader
Bitcoin.
or for
I
your
am not
Bitcoin
long
skipping?
Bitcoin. I want to buy Bitcoin. I'm waiting for a pullback. I'm a sissy. I should have bought it like at 63. I knew it was good. Um, listen, this is the new Bitcoin. The old Bitcoin, and you know it because you've
Would have
traded it.
ripped already.
Well, not even that it would rip. It would move 5% a day every day.
Yeah, yeah, we'd be at the upper end of this.
But I'm saying now a 2% move in Bitcoin up or down is a big move. It's kind of weird. So maybe it gets out of that cycle and quickly moves up to 70. But again, I have a long bias in it. I don't own it. But I was advising and I'm still advising to people who like it. I think it goes higher from here. I
Well,
don't
here's
know.
Ethereum, right? If you think you guys may have missed out on a Bitcoin move for 5%, what do you think of Ethereum here?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't really trade it, so I'm not really versed. You know. Why don't you pull a chart? Like it's weird. Like I'm looking today at the market, and like NASDAQ just keeps ripping and ripping. And I'm telling you, NASDAQ is really one or two stocks that moves the whole NASDAQ. It really does. And then the others come along just for the ride. But like since I've woken up this morning, S&P is tanked. It was up like 45 when I woke up. It's now up 29, which is a nothing day, right? And then you have the crackheads in NASDAQ.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a nothing day. Here's the chart that I was working off of at the close yesterday. So these red dotted lines, that was a 50-point straddle priced at 4 o'clock yesterday. 50-point straddle priced at 4 o'clock. We hit that level to the upside exactly. So I mean, is
I
that
don't
a
know if we
nothing
were
day?
up 50. We might have been slightly lower than up 50. I don't think we were up.
Slightly lower, slightly lower.
Whatever. But here's the thing.
But
Okay.
where,
Where is that straddle
where
now?
did
Where's
find
that?
resistance? This green
Dude,
line right here,
I understand. Now go to the
50-day
straddle
moving.
for today. Go to the straddle for today. The one that's right at the money.
Yeah, hold on. What do you think it is?
I would say 35.
And you would be basically close.
Oh, you almost said I was right. If that the whole podcast would have shut down if that happened.
Exactly.
Dude, that's in my head, dude, without looking at it one time today.
34.
And you
34.
know why
Basically,
that is? You know why that is, right?
why that is? Why is that?
Why?
It's exactly the same
Because
straddle we had at 9.
the upside to hit on a $35 straddle when we're up 30 or 35 happens, but it's a rarity. And you know what's a rarity? What's really scaring me for the future of the market in the next month or two? 1% is 80 points, dude. NASDAQ does that every day. The S&P never does that. I don't know why, but we're going to get into a point here in the future, whether it's in August or September, where we're going to have 100-point days easily, which is only, let me ask you a question. What if we get wiped out? Okay, let's say we have a day, which we've had in my career, thousands, not hundreds, thousands of down 2 to 3% days. Do you understand if the S&P goes down 3, that's 240 spoon handles? This place will blow up. You don't agree?
Yeah. What I'm doing here on the chart now, I'm moving these straddle levels to reflect what the current 34 point is based
Well,
on.
I know you're talking about this. A question came in. What is your point of control in S&P and NASDAQ? They want to know.
So point of control really depends on look back. You guys saw me asking uh, what because you guys are talking about point of control on the chat, and it really depends on your look back. So here, what I'll do here is put a box around the point of control that I'm looking at for this chart, and I'll give it a nice yellow right there so it stands out. So this is the look back period. G Mundo, that goes to you. When I talk about look back period, this is encapsulating all the volume and price action for this box right here. That's a look back period going back to like June 11th. So depending on where, and then what I like to do is based on the move, like we went from the high to the low. I want to see what the point of control is. So you can see right away that when you do that, you have your point of control at 75.21, and that's a resistance level right now. So that's going to be important. That is taking that is taking your volume from just from the prior move, right? So here's the box right there from the previous high to this recent low. That's the box. That's your point of control. So you have different levels to play off of, and then what I like to do is see how adjacent they are to key levels from the option market, like we talk about straddles, implied vol. I want to see where these points of control fit within the context of implied levels that come directly from the option market. Then on top of that, I want to see where these moving averages come in, because I know algos are going to be sensitive to that. I know everybody's looking at them. So where they all become adjacent, that level becomes very important. And you can play off of that. You know that if it's a market that is moving sideways, we're going to go up and down these levels. If it's a market that's trending, we could, these levels serve as great targets, reversion zones, all that. So that's how I look at it.
Cool. Another
Here's a
question.
chart that I want to look at a little bit more on.
Well, we have a question, so I'm just going to ask the question. You can
Go
pull
ahead.
it up. So the question is, when is the vol crush coming in NASDAQ, or is the vol crush coming in NASDAQ, as you've seen in S&P? I don't know if that's going to happen, because this
Exactly. I
is,
was about to say the same thing.
but can I finish the thought?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So what I would say is this, okay? I know you don't believe it, okay? But Ken and Jane are printing money, okay? They can't print money in S&P stocks. There is not enough vol, too much liquidity, but they can print money in Micron every single day. Every day. Micron is up 4% or a little less, whatever it's up. It'll either be unchanged or down or up 8%. And these guys will be jimmy jamming these markets all day long to make people pay high and sell low. So I don't think vol, I wish it would, but I don't think vol is coming out of NASDAQ. And I actually think, looking at these two markets, they're two separate markets. The S&P, to me, okay, and I know I've said this on the show, it seems like a utility stock in the old days. It moves, but it doesn't really move. How could you think, like you're looking at S&P, I'm looking at S&P, and you said $30 is a lot, okay? But $30 is 40 basis points. If Micron moved 40 basis points today, the world would close down, okay? I mean, come on, they need 5% moves in stocks to even make money. I'm going to call them, you call them the Korean ants, I'm calling them the U.S. ants. The U.S. ants need that. They need stocks. They can only buy 100 shares or 200
You call
shares.
them the Korean ants. I don't call them.
Okay, whatever. The ant farms, whatever they are. I don't know. People talk about it all the time. Okay, I don't know. I don't, that's I'm old school, that's new school. I don't know. But what I would say is we have the same thing here. We have traders that are undercapitalized trading at, these firms, Robinhood, etc., and they only have enough money to buy 80 shares of a stock, 100 shares. They need Micron to move $50, right? Because they want to make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. They can't make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in IBM today unless they're going to buy some size, right?
I look at it like, well, here's this chart of the S&P 500 skew. I don't think we're going to get a vol crush anytime soon. So I agree with you, Larry. But I'm looking at it from the way that the option market itself is changing right before our eyes, and I don't think people are realizing it. But tail end protection is actually going up now. Skews were at the dead lows and they were dropping, and actually looking at S&P skews was a great in hindsight a great indicator. Right before the market melted up in April, we were already off our highs in skew leading into that April melt up. But now you've had almost 2 months where tail end protection is starting to go up. So I think structurally the option market is starting to reflect some risk. And I don't think we're going back to these levels anytime soon.
Really? I mean, the S&P looks very low, okay? I don't see a lot of option buying there. I'm telling you, so like today as a trader, and we're getting close to wrapping, for me, and I'm trading the markets pretty much every day, sitting here watching, etc. My first move today, okay, is to see what they're going to do with NASDAQ, S&P, and, flippity flops. And like, it doesn't have to do with pure pure trading. I'm just telling you, there's no pure trading. Like you can't, like right now, the NASDAQ's outperforming the S&P by over 1% or in that area. The question is later, is it going to be 50 bips, 30 bips? Is it going to fully reverse? Is the NASDAQ going to go further and push up the S&P? Nobody knows the answers to these questions. The people you don't think move the market know. They know what they're buying today. They know what they're pushing around. They know, listen, they know out of the gate where the flow is coming. So they have such sophisticated computer machinery that they could know, hey, we see 96 buyers of Micron and 20 sellers. Let's go. You know, they net aggregate all over the place. They know who the buyers are. They know when we hit our computer here what we're doing before it even hits the exchange. Okay. I don't want to get into a big discussion about that, but that is fact.
Okay, let's look at some more charts. What do you think of silver? Look at this breakout here.
I don't know. Is it above 60?
Not yet.
No. Dude, it went up 3 points. It was 50. It couldn't break 55. So it's where? 58, 58 and a half? I don't think anything.
59.
I don't think anything.
59 on the cash index.
I think I was waiting for a lower move. We didn't get it. I'm saying no trade here.
Yeah, for the time being, okay, but
I think that these things are going to be under major pressure for the rest of the year. I think Warsh is much more aggressive than they're pricing in. I don't think it has to do with the curve. I just think it has to do with what they're pricing in. So I am not thinking you're going to see an extended move. And you know what's funny? Gold is up on the year. It's not even down. Silver's down, but gold isn't. Gold was down for a minute, and then it came right back. But, you know, I expect these markets to be lower. But, you know, I'm not buying, you know, I know you like to buy this stuff, and it may work. I'm not saying it won't. But
I was trading a lot. It's 2 nights in a row where a long silver trade overnight was working very well. Here on the 30-minute chart, we have an RSI that's a little bit extended. I'd wait for this RSI to normalize over a 30-minute chart period. And yeah, I'm looking to buy. I got my hand on the buy trigger.
I want to discuss one thing before we get off. Okay, here's what I want to discuss that I feel a little weird about. Okay, literally for like the first 4 months of this year, every single day. I mean, every single day you heard about a deal with OpenAI and Anthropic and this and buying. Just let me finish what I'm going to say because I know you're about to interrupt me. Okay. So my question to you, or my thought that you could, you know, answer is this. How come we haven't heard one thing? How come there's not one deal? How come literally, I'm telling you, it's been 2 months. Every day, OpenAI, we're partnering with this, we're partnering with that. Because what I think, and maybe I'm wrong, these guys are sitting on so much commitment and so much inventory, which we've seen Facebook dishing servers, and that this whole trade is upside down. It's just the public hasn't realized it. They're hiding it from the public. But literally, this trade is so oversubscribed that I'm really worried about it going into August and September. Okay. OpenAI obviously has massive issues, correct? They're being sued up and down by Apple. This guy is in trouble all over the place. Elon is railroading him, calling him a fraud all over X. Okay. They're not in the ability to do anything. So it's going to be a big problem moving forward. And I just don't think, this is just me, I just don't think they have the wherewithal to meet these commitments and do these deals. They're not making any money. So the bottom line is now everyone says Anthropic's eating their lunch. So how are they going to meet these commitments? That to me, and you know, you can answer quickly because we got to wrap, but that to me is what I want to talk more about because that's the thing that's scaring me, Eric. Where is that? Every day from January till freaking April, even May. We heard it. Oh, they're doing a deal with Oracle. They're doing a deal with this. They're doing a deal with that. Every single day. You haven't heard one deal.
Well, they probably already they ran out of partners. They made deals with everyone.
Right. And that's what that brings me to the point. Okay. There's only 3 or 4 real AI, facilitators to all these companies. And OpenAI did the same deal with Oracle that they did with Microsoft, that they did with this guy and that guy and this guy, and they can't even complete the first one. So now what's going to happen when all these guys are out there making all these servers, buying up storage, putting up plants, and then nobody is there to take it? You're like talking about DeepSeek. I like to know if DeepSeek is even a company anymore. I haven't heard one word. I mean, and now you're calling, I don't even remember the name. I don't
Moonshot.
even know.
Moonshot.
Okay, Moonshot, whatever company. Where is it? China?
Friday.
Okay, where is it? China?
China.
Okay, dude, I know. They're incredible. Whatever.
They're going to be doing a $30 billion IPO.
Okay. Listen, I'm just going to leave it at this. A lot of stuff. Listen, this has nothing to do with today and whether they're going to flippity flop or bounce around or do what they do, because they do that every day. There's not a day that goes by that NASDAQ doesn't go like this. You said it yourself. Ring, ring, up and down, So the bottom line is that has nothing to do with today, but that's what's scaring me up top. Okay. And we have Intel reporting, and Intel is the worst player in the space. There is no worse player. Okay. They're terrible. Okay. I know Trump invested in it, so somehow it got bid by the government. Okay. Think about it. The government had to come in and buy stock to save the company. And now it's like amazing. Intel is not doing well. Okay. In my mind. Okay. So the bottom line is, are these guys, is NVIDIA going to be able to blow it out? And I just don't, I'm sure they will, because, Jensen, never puts up a bad number, but stuff has to be slowing down in here. I just feel it, because you're not hearing about deals on a daily basis or even a monthly basis. So anyway, I want to leave it on that. A $35 straddle, I don't know. It's probably a no take. It will work if the market goes up. That I would say. If the market rallies here, I don't think we're rallying another 40 or 50 in SPOOs, which would almost double what we're up now. So I like it there, but and then the thing is, one thing I'll say, and I always say this, the market never does the same thing twice. So yesterday we opened up, failed, rallied and then failed. So today, we may, no one knows, but it would be a lot harder to fail today. That's what I would say, because anyone that needed to puked the hole yesterday, puked down. So here we sit. I wish you good luck trading today. I don't know if you want to close on anything, but we got to get running.
Yeah, just a couple more charts that we didn't get to share today. Here's the equally weighted S&P 500. And I would like the mantra right now is that there's a broadening out of the rally. So what happens if this broadening out fails? This is the equally weighted index. Looks a little bit overbought to me. So if you start seeing really poor market breadth, I think the market's a one-way ticket to the downside. Obviously, we have to look at earnings and trade through that. But this is a chart. What is it? The RSPs, the ETF. Pull that up. I have a.
We are long that for our subscribers, so that's good. I still like it.
You still like it here?
Yeah, I like it. You may have a little bit of a reversal because it's had such a sick move.
Here's the boat ETF. This is an ETF that I think people should have in their book for the long term.
What is it called?
It's BOAT, boat. Global shipping, tankers. I think as the world becomes more deglobalized, this trend should accelerate. I think people should have this in their book. Here, from a technical level, it's consolidating up here, right on top of its short-term moving averages. That's like this is a sector, a segment of the market, but I think this is a place where you want to, you kind of want to identify where the fish are swimming. I think that's one of them. Here's the military defense ETF, ITA. We had a lot of war. They need to re-up on their ammunition, right? How come the military ETFs and stocks are not doing well. So that's another one just to keep
Well,
an eye on. I think there's a
yeah, but
move.
it's weird. I'll just say this. Military stocks might not be doing well, but like Palantir was on its deathbed. And I don't know if it's rallying because they think the war is continuing or whatever, but I think that stock probably has it wrong, and I'm looking to short it for two reasons. One's the midterms. Once the House flips, these guys are not going to be able to. The government's not going to just hand Trump's position more money. Which is he's long. Palantir personally, which is crazy that the president of the United States can own stocks, but we'll get that another day. We're 5 minutes out. I wish everyone luck trading today. Don't see like I'm looking to buy S&P against NASDAQ, but buying more S&P than I would be selling NASDAQ. So anyway, that's it for today, and we'll be back. We're back tomorrow. I appreciate you. You got me fired up this morning. I'm ready to go trade. Peace.